Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I am Joseph Ward on location again in my great city of Tallahassee, out in the community as much as possible. One of my goals this year is to do as many community and just collaborations, period, with people who are bringing positivity and constructivity to our community. And this interview, like my past interviews, it files suit. It fits the bill. So I'm here at a local restaurant in Tallahassee. It's been around, I would say, about 10 years.
Actually, no, we're only about 6 to 7 years now.
Okay. But it feels about 10 years. It feels like. So Halisi Africa is an African restaurant. It's African themed, it's African based, and it's here in our community in Tallahassee, and it's been a force in our community. It's been pouring into our community, not just into our bellies, but into our spirits, and helping Tallahassee grow in a better space, in a better light, helping Tallahassee be better, helping our community be better. And this gentleman here, he's going to tell us all about himself, the restaurant, why they're here, and how they pour into the community. And also, he has a huge Kwanzaa event coming up December 30th, and we're going to talk about that. So we're going to let you introduce yourself, and then we're going to get into it. So tell the people who you are and about Halisi Africa.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that, bro. My name is Bryant Shaw. I also go by irvineP. I'm a traveler, linguist, and in this part of my life, I am now a chef, co-owner of Halisi Africa, and owner of Sovereign Roots LLC. Just to go ahead and fast pace to the next part, which is tell us about Halisi Africa. I imagine Halisi is, we've been here for going on 7 years. It is 7 because this is our 6th Kwanzaa event. Okay. And so the first year we started, of course, we didn't do it that year. So our 6th annual Kwanzaa event is coming up, and we've been a part of the community in many different ways, but I'd like to give you a little bit of our story so you get some context. I'm originally actually born and raised here in Tallahassee. My mother is as well. Actually, she was born and raised in Minnesota and Miami, and so we're African Americans who were just really passionate about Pan-Africanism, as it means, to the diaspora, and we created this establishment after traveling and living abroad. I lived in Tanzania for about a year and a half. I learned Swahili. I speak Swahili, and I also teach it. I also lived in Spain for a little while I was traveling to north of Africa, so Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, you know what I mean? Just moving around, really. And during that experience, I picked up Spanish. Definitely I'm strong in that one, but a little bit of Arabic, a little bit of French, you know what I mean? So, and I got a real feel for these cultures and these places. Then when I went to Tanzania, I just fell in love. I was like, oh, this is it, man. I lived in Senegal for a while as well, a couple of months. And just, but when I got to Tanzania, I was like, oh, this is it. And that is the homeland of Swahili. Like many African Americans, we always been entrepreneurs. And when I got there and fell in love with it, I found some way to give back, to send things home and tell my family, hey, check this out. This is not what we thought. You know what I'm saying? Originally, our plan was to invest in Africa, which we did. You know what I'm saying? We invested in the community in Tanzania. I was only coming back home. We were in Tanzania and in Kenya. And I came back home 2019. The restaurant had already been going, and we had found a way to kind of bring in money. Right. Really, it was more of a boutique at that time. Right. Anyway, we found a way to bring in money just by telling people about this place and being excited as we were about it, and also selling the clothes and the things from artisans in Tanzania. And came home for kind of a Christmas break. I need a pause from living abroad for so long or whatnot. And the pandemic hit about a month or so into my visit home. And I was like, all right, well, I'm stuck now. Right. So I was already, helping out in the restaurant, doing a little bit. Well, like I said, it was a boutique then, but we expanded into a restaurant that year, and that's what kept us open during the pandemic. Anything that was, what you call it, necessity or whatever, could stay open. So, yeah, we stayed open. We tried out different recipes. I brought a lot of the knowledge of cuisine that I had acquired, living in all these different places. I said, okay, I know this spice, I know this seasoning. Shoot, it's supposed to taste like this. Right. Let's do it, And we ended up bringing a lot of different flavors to the city, which just dramatically impacted our business in a way that we didn't expect, because people really wanted this. We didn't know that, there was a real desire for something that was not only cultural and significant, but also that told a different narrative for Africa. You know what I'm saying? And so that made a big impact on us. I don't mean to just take the microphone. You know what I'm saying? All right, cool. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. So yeah, really that was the beginnings. We recently, actually this year, 2025, we were on the list of people with diners, drive-ins, and dives. Yeah, I remember that. And that it's funny because if you listen or watch any of the other interviews that I did around that time, I tell you, we were actually really tired. We were getting at that point where we're like, man, this is getting difficult. You know what I'm saying? And then that happened, and we were like, we got to push on, man. This done gone to a national level now. Like, right. You got to keep trying. You know what I'm saying? So we decided to open up another side. Opened up the side that we're on now, and expanded our seating for another 30. I think real sitting and standing. We can fit up to another 50 people in here, and there's 50 people on the first side. So that really expanded our opportunities. And now going into Kwanzaa, I'm saying, okay, wait a minute, I got to expand that as well. I got to prepare for more people, and I got to make a different impact. So that's what got us here.
Nah, that's cool. That's real cool, because you made me think about the first time we met, because I didn't know the backstory, because I actually thought that you were born in an African country and then moved over here. Right. Because one of the reasons, I guess I thought that because that's what I thought I heard. But we first met at it was the first African fashion show that I hosted. I was a co-host. Candace May and her mother, Gail May. Yeah. They put on the African fashion show. African fashion Week. Yeah, and that's where I first met you and your mother, because you all were designing clothes at the time. Mm-hmm. So multi-talented, right? Because I met you designing clothes, and then it evolved into, like you said, you had the boutique, so you had the clothes, but it evolved into a restaurant, and you still have clothes on the other side. And we're gonna have to show y'all the restaurant as well. But now I think that's very, very cool that you use your experiences and your skill sets to create something that you can use to benefit yourself and others. Because one of my favorite scholars, Dr. Amos Wilson, always talks about true education is when you learn how to solve your problems. Right. And so it's taking the information and actually using the information rather than just being a museum for information. And so that's what I love about this, is you taking all of your experiences around the globe. So and before we bring it back, like, what made you really want to travel and see the world and get out there and get those experiences, especially growing up here in Tallahassee? Because I'm from Tallahassee too, and we all want to get out and see the world. But what made you actually not just want to do it, but actually do it?
Oh man, I'm glad you asked me that, dude. It's funny because I'm currently working on my book. It's part autobiography, a little bit more of a memoir, because I skip a lot and try to get to the point, and a little bit of manifesto, because I'm talking about what was the motivation and how did that give me to a conclusion. Right. So to answer that, it actually started when I went to jail. I went to jail in 2009 for possession of marijuana with intent to sell. I did 3 months and was released with 2 years of probation. And when I was in jail, and before that, my mom had already moved to Texas to get her PhD. Mm-hmm. And so that, it's a dramatic contrast, because she's on a growth mission to get to the 1% of people with this level of knowledge and research and skill, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going through probably my lowest point, getting arrested for something dumb, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and whatever, you know what I'm saying, in terms of marijuana, drug dealer, all that, you know what I'm saying? But
you shouldn't have been in that situation.
Right, you know what I'm saying? I knew better, you know what I'm saying? And And so, I went to jail. That encouraged me to read a lot. Like most people, had a kind of dramatic transition where I said, you know what, let me look at people who I want to be like and try to be more like them. And I read Obama's autobiography. Of course, I had already read Malcolm X's autobiography, but I read it again. You know what I'm saying? I read, who else was that? So many great authors. Sidney Poitier. I read a little bit of the Quran. I read the Bible again. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just had time. You know what I'm saying? I'm just sitting there, just going through it. And I'm like, man, I admire these people, and I want to be and do different stuff. You know what I'm saying? One of the things I really want to do is see the world. You know what I'm saying? So, my mom had already left from Florida to go to Texas A&M to get her PhD, and when I got out, part of the conditions of my probation was that I would move to Texas and go to school, right? And I'm 20 years old at this time, you know what I'm saying? So they showed some leniency, right. Tried to kind of put me on the right path, and it worked. It really worked. When I went to Texas, I just completely changed my mindset. I went to school, focused on it, you know what I mean? Graduated eventually from the University of Houston with a bachelor's in public relations and political science. And part of that experience, I had already been traveling. I'd seen other places. And one odd note I should plug in is that I'm convicted, but I'm not a felon. I have adjudication withheld. So technically, I was still allowed to travel. I was able to get my passport. A lot of people be like, "Oh, you've been in jail, you can't go nowhere." Nah, you can still. It depends on your conviction or your adjudication. So I got my passport and went to Mexico, Canada, the close places at first, and then I got a chance to study abroad. Ended up in Spain. Really liked it and wanted to go back again. And I noticed from that experience that I could easily get to Africa, and also experienced the rest of Europe. James Baldwin, for example, lived in France for a long time, spoke fluent French. Who is that? Frederick Douglass. I mean, so many of our ancestors and the leaders that we recognize, they you know what I'm saying, and they grew from it. Right. Malcolm X, part of his experience when he came back, he was a completely different man. He was like, you know what I'm saying, it changes you dramatically, and it really did, man. The first time I went to Spain, I was like, this is insane. This is not what I've been picturing, taught, shown in any way. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? There's a completely different life. And then same thing. I went to Morocco and said, man, hold on, man. Ain't nobody tell me it was nothing like this in Africa, period. Right. You know what I'm saying? Let alone North Africa, period, wasn't nothing like this. What I was told. Right. So I went back, finished my degree at that point, and then I went ahead at the point of finishing my degree, said the same week to 2 weeks later, I'm gonna be back in Spain. I'm gonna go ahead and travel Africa. I had applied for Peace Corps. I looked into foreign services, different opportunities like that. Ultimately, when I went to Spain, I said, you know what? Let me just do my own thing. Ended up just traveling all these places just off of something drawing me to do it. Another book I read and I highly recommend it is something that it encourages you to pursue your personal legend. It's The Alchemist. Yeah. Love that book. Read it several times in multiple languages now because I was like, I'm finna understand this to the depth that I can. You know what I'm saying? And that personal legend part really drew me in because it was something else to say. Everybody has their own purpose, their own thing that they need to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? And pursuing it is an act of courage. True fearlessness because you have to believe. It's also an act of faith. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You have to believe that this is what's for you, So, I was like, man, I'm finna go to every single, if I can fly there, if it's reasonable and I can find work, I'm finna boom, boom, boom. And that was it. That got me all those places, man. And I highly recommend the same thing for so many young people. If you're not sure what you're thinking, what you see, what you believe here in this country, man, please visit somewhere else. I promise you're going to see something completely different.
It's a whole world out there, and basically saying you don't have to restrict yourself to your environment, your community, your city. Get out and see the world, live, experience things. And you can always come back because a lot of people come back to their hometown, but you come back with so much more. And just you have to trust me. Traveling is amazing. You have to get out and do it. So, all right. So, you travel, you see the world, and you say 2019 is when Halisi Africa really started to take off. You would say, okay, and it was a boutique at this time.
Yeah.
And so, and this around the same, because I think that, no, it had to be the second African fashion show then, the one that I hosted. So, because we were at TCC or something like that, one of those places. I can't remember exactly where we were, so because that was right before COVID.
Yeah, right.
And so
it was 2020, yeah.
And so basically, you were saying that Halisi Africa was able to grow during COVID.
Yeah. Honestly, shoot, this was just fortune and fortune and faith, man. Really, we just we had started a boutique, and the plan had always been to expose people to Africa in more than just one way. And people were familiar with African fashion, so we wanted to show modern African fashion. A lot of people, they know the sort of the boo-boos and what do you call those things, the dashiki and all that stuff, but they didn't, they don't know. There's fashion designers all over the continent, you know what I'm saying, who make some beautiful stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Featured in the Paris fashion shows and all that, right? So the African Fashion Week we had really focused the boutique on clothing and fashion, but before that, it was originally spices, sauces, vanilla, saffron, all sorts of stuff that I was able to get really cheap in Africa. But I think a gram of saffron is like $10. Same thing for vanilla. You know what I'm saying? Like a gram of this is $10. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? In Africa, I'm getting pounds of it for like 30. Right. Like they say, you know what I'm saying? You serious? Yeah, here you go, ma. I'll say you that all day. Right. So that's what was really something essential to us, and what we did. We had already open the back. There's a front portion of our store and a back portion. In the back portion, we had sort of a small kitchen, a really small kitchen, and the seasonings and spices and stuff like that. And we would add it to breads and simple stuff that was that was basically concessions. It wasn't we didn't need licensing at this point we weren't back there cooking. You know what I'm saying? We did eventually take the kitchen to the point of being able to cook, but that was really after the pandemic started. When during the time of African Fashion Week, it was just a small space, to let people try out chocolates and things like that. Yeah. But once the pandemic started, we needed something, because we were like, dude, we all trapped in the house. Like, I think a month or 2 months, I was stir crazy. I had just come back from Africa. I'm like, bro, I'm in here watching TV. This is boring. Right. Can I go walking? You can't go walking in Tallahassee like that. Right. You can go for a hike or something, but it's like, it's not the same. Right. So yeah, like most people, I imagine, we were stir crazy, and we had already started construction on the kitchen. And so we came back in here and said, okay, let's get the kitchen, going. Let's try some different recipes. Open up, and if people come by, that'd be great. Everybody knows to wear masks and whatnot. And I think for Florida, we were only closed down for maybe 2 months, something like that. So yeah, when we opened back up, it worked. It really just people really wanted to get out. They needed places that were open, and we were open and ready to let people try these different spices and stuff. And we just built a following and a community just like that, and being able to tell our story, because during this time, the beautiful thing was that you weren't too busy to talk to the people who were next to you, who are in front of you. You know what I'm saying? And in order to build a community, you have to be able to actually build a bond with them. Yeah. It's not just I'm selling you food. It's I'm talking to you. This is my experience. So a lot of people in Tallahassee really got to know me based off of that, and they could tell, oh man, here's my nephew. He speak a little Swahili to him. I'm trying to learn Spanish. I started doing tutoring, started teaching classes, and that just really put me out in front of people in another way. And that's what, if you ask me, that's what brought Halisi out of the pandemic and brought us out of the pandemic. Because also, as a starting off business, we had funds planning, thinking that we wouldn't, we would need to get through the first year, you know what I'm saying? So the fact that it happened when it happened benefited us in the long run because everybody was in this situation.
Right.
It was new for everybody.
Right.
So it was like, okay, well, we can survive this because we were preparing to be broke. You know what I'm saying? But when we got out of it, we were able to see profit much faster than you would imagine, just because we were able to really do the groundwork and get a community behind us that was able to say, oh man, that's the African spot. Go through there and get you that. So yeah, man.
Nah, yeah, cause I can remember my first time coming to get some food, and it was good, it was cool and everything, and the word spread, and people around Tallahassee do know about Halisi, Africa. There are some people who don't get out the house who may not know, but I can recall having conversations with coworkers in the past, and they're like, y'all been to the African spot in Railroad Square? Because now making distinguish because they have the Haitian spot, but and they have good food as well. Yeah. But it's like making sure that people really understand like the mission of Halisi Africa as well, and not just the African food spot, but Halisi Africa, the restaurant that is pouring into the Tallahassee community by the actions and things that you all do, or the events rather. And that leads me to talking about you all's community work, but especially through teaching, education, and like you said, teaching people different languages, educating people about different African cultures and different African foods through the restaurant, but also Kwanzaa. You all celebrate Kwanzaa here, and you have a Kwanzaa event. You say 6 years you've had a Kwanzaa event. So how did that start? How did the Kwanzaa event start in addition to everything else you have going on? Why did you decide to do that?
So same sort of starting period. After we had gotten the restaurant just licensed and doing its thing, the pandemic was still in everybody's mind. It had we had some small transition, but in general, the pandemic was still fresh on everybody's mind. A friend of ours from another business, big shout out to Hemp. Why is Hemp? Darn it, I can't get their name out. Over there in Frenchtown, dang it. Anyway, Hemplade. Yeah, there it is, Hemplade. Thank you. Big shout out to them. Narsha, the co-owner of that place, she celebrated Kwanzaa. I celebrated Kwanzaa as a child, but I hadn't thought about it in years, Mm-hmm. And she came, she hit us up and was like, hey, I'm trying to put on a Kwanzaa event. She's a vegan, and we had a lot of vegan options on our menu. So she already knew us as a friend and said, hey, I'm trying to do, a Kwanzaa event. Would you guys like to be a part of it? And we're going to do it virtual. And at Halisi, you can, open up a little bit of space and maybe people can come through and, sit there. And so we said, okay, yeah, like I said, I hadn't thought about Kwanzaa in years, but when she, when we did it, and when she talked to me about it, I said, okay, wait, I need to research this again. I don't want to be out there talking about sounding stupid. So let me look into it. And I kind of did a deep dive. I really got into it. Like I said, I'm writing my book, and as part of the book, I've actually structured it as part of as the Kwanzaa, under the Kwanzaa principles. Mm-hmm. Those are the values that I'm kind of talking about in the manifesto portion. Kind of how did this affect me when I started to understand this at another level. Right. And yeah, that was the big spark, because after I did that deep dive, we did an event, and it was obviously, like I said, pandemic time, we did it virtually, so it was somewhat poorly attended, but it's still a good event, a great effort on our behalf. Right. And I went back and watched and said, I want to do this again, and I want to do it right. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, I got back in touch with everybody the next year. That year, we were able to get. We were able to do a couple of days. I think we did maybe 3 days out of Kwanzaa or something like that, or at least pretty much. I think for the first year, yeah, we only did maybe 3 days or something like that. And after that, the next year, I did it again, and combined with some more businesses to make it grow, to help it grow. And each year, it's kind of gained momentum. People who remember Kwanzaa or heard about Kwanzaa back forever ago, our older generation and also the people who are younger, who are curious and want to know about what was this, you know what I'm saying, come through and they we had discussions mostly. This year is going to be the first time I'm trying something very different. I'm excited about it because we have this new space. I can do something that that I think is going to really have a lasting impact on the community. I want to jump. Do you mind if I jump straight into that? All right, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and jump straight into it. Basically, in the last couple of events, I've had the opportunity to do things that are a little bit more theatrical in the sense of we did a Sinners dinner party, which is based off the Sinners movie. And it was a murder mystery night, right? I also did a dining experience with a good friend of mine, Bryant, and he put on, a gorgeous dinner with his co-chef, Angel. I don't want to get her last name wrong, so I'm gonna leave it alone. And we have videos on our Instagram. Definitely check it out. It was a really great experience, and it was an elevated dining experience that encouraged me to try the murder mystery. Next up, Salted Stage with E. Marie. We were planning on doing something. So yeah. She's done a couple of them already. We haven't had a chance to do one here yet, but I still believe we will. And then what else happened? Kindred Thanksgiving. I did a Kindred Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving mixer sort of thing, and that exposed me to sort of dinner parties. Dinner parties allow for people to be up and socializing. You can put on dinner party games, and they encourage people to do certain like challenges. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The most common or well known as Wolf, and I was like, okay, I learned how the mechanics of that game works. I said, I can take this to another level. Playing around with AI. Putting in a bunch of ideas, pouring my ideas. I say, you know what, this can teach the Kwanzaa principles as a learning, as a what do you call it, a living experience. Yeah. This ain't just theory. You know what I'm saying? Unity comes from understanding solidarity, understanding how you can work well together. You know what I'm saying? That's umoja. Then kujichagulia, understanding yourself, self-determination, deciding who you're going to be, what your values are. You know what I'm saying? You can take that and actually do that in an evening through a game. You know what I'm saying? And the beautiful part about it is it also helps build relationships and teach the skills. You know what I'm saying? At the same time. So the idea would be that people who have never met each other come through, right? Meet each other, right? Make friends, sit down at a table together. Like I said, you never met this person together. How often is it that you meet somebody new and next thing you know you're dining with them, right? And of course, it is a dining experience as well. So food is coming out. You know what I'm saying? We have conversation prompts encouraging you to build together, create a meaningful bond, and then I don't want to give too much of it away, but you end up kind of going to the next level, which is collective work and responsibility. You make your team from those bonds. You focus on your different skills and real sort of grow learning what your skills are and how responsibility works within a small, a small dynamic, right? All these things we're exposed to, but not in a way that usually is constructive to our individual and to our communities, right? But how can we do this in our communities? That's the idea, right? Throughout the night, we really start to see how do you put cooperative work or cooperative economics into practice. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so like I said, I'm not giving too much away. I don't want to ruin the game. I recommend you come. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's also going to be, and I've always done this, I've always done trivia as part of it as, just a fun thing to do. What do you call it? A little bit of scavenger hunt. There's going to be, what do you call those things? Taboo, culture tags, Black Card Revolt. Right. All those games are going to be part of it as well. But sort of staggered throughout the night so that it doesn't take up too much of your time.
And give the day and time.
Oh, yeah.
Again.
Okay, so I'm actually doing it multiple nights. So the 30th is the night I have you come through, which is, that's going to be discussion. Okay. And that's going to be, an opportunity for everybody to reflect on it and to focus on our purpose going into the new year. You know what I'm saying? That is Tuesday, December 30th. It's going to be from 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. All right. Okay. Dinner will be served with it as well. It's open discussion, right? I imagine it'll be me and you talking, similar to how we are now, but the studio audience here kind of, able to contribute to the conversation, and we can ask them what do they think about this? How can we work on this? How can we grow together? You know what I'm saying? The night before that, the 29th, it will also be reflection. Let me focus on the dates going forward, actually. 26th through the 30th is what we're doing this year. Okay. All right? So your night will be the last night. That's Nia. 26th, 7 to 10 p.m. Actually, every night is 7 to 10 p.m. Here at Halisi, Africa. And the 26th, we'll be doing the games from, we'll be doing different versions of this game, that the one I was describing. Focusing on different principles on the 26th, the 27th, and 28th. We'll also have big shout out to Marlon Williams. He's going to come through and play the drums. I think he's going to come through on the 28th, but we got to solidify that. Last time he was on there, not last time, but we were originally discussing the 26th, but I think the 28th will be better because that's Imani, and he can kind of keep the energy right, you know what I'm saying, make it feel right. Also, I would love to see if I can get him to come again on our night, but I don't know how we're gonna share the stage and the sound and the noise. So we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. He might just back us up with a little bit of drum action. But yeah, man, that's the idea for Kwanzaa, and let me say this also. I got some big plans for going into the next year. I'll talk about that based on your guidance.
No, that. Give as much as you want. You don't have to give everything away, but the main thing is I want people to understand your purpose and your why and see your passion behind what you do, because I try to be selective about who I interview and who I introduce to my audience, because for one, I want to make sure people who are genuinely giving to our community get a light, get a shine. I don't like within not just Tallahassee, but within black communities, it's like if you're not popular or you're not in certain circles. And no, we should be showing light to everybody who is, like you said, doing constructive things in our community. And you've been doing that for a while. But, also so people can see what you've done here at Halisi, Africa, and can get to know it, and they can come and support it. If you're in Tallahassee, support it. If you visit Tallahassee, well, you got a destination to come to, don't you? You got to come to Halisi, Africa. It's in Railroad Square. It's not hard to find. You can find it, right? But also just everything that you all do here to bring the community together, but the education that goes into teaching people about Africa and teaching the people about our history here in America, and mixing both together and showing how we can work together, and we do work together despite all the other crazy stuff that's going on. So December 30th is the night that I'll be here, and we're having our discussion around Nia. But December 26th at 7 is the game night. It's the first night. I want to come to that as well. I got to check the game. That sound fun. That sound fun. So 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you've put your best foot forward. You've released your book. You've accomplished some goals. You've gone places you haven't gone before. What mark would you have want to leave, not on Tallahassee, but on the world, as Bryant, as you go out into this world and you accomplish all these things? When you look back, what would be one of the most important things that you've left this world?
Oh man, I really appreciate you asking that. So one thing I mentioned earlier on was I also have my LLC, Sovereign Roots, and the big goal or mission of that is to educate people in sovereignty, and the sense of food sovereignty, shelter and housing sovereignty, transportation sovereignty, in the sense of basically being able to control these things for our communities, right? A lot of people imagine this as an independent thing, as in one person solves food sovereignty for himself. It's not how that works. Sovereignty is solved as a group, as a community, right? We say, okay, let's figure out how we can grow our own food, how we can cook it, process it, and distribute it so that everybody in our community can eat. Right. And so Sovereign Roots has been doing a couple different things lately. Mostly, I'm on a mission of learning how to accomplish those things myself by collaborating with gardens, with food distribution centers, food pantries, things like that. Also collaborating with Habitat for Humanity, Tallahassee Lenders Consortium, and really getting an understanding of how can we all work together to accomplish this, because it doesn't make sense that what's keeping our communities down is really the network and the structure, infrastructure. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's for us to work together to provide what we need, and so that we can all individually have everything that we need without it being in the context of wealth, but in the context of what you as a human basic bare minimum rights deserve. Abundance. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? It's funny, you mentioned abundance, and it's funny to me because our planet, not just our planet, shoot, if I just look at our communities, if I look at, America, if I look at Africa, there's so much abundance. There's no limitation. We have everything we need to survive so that every single person on this planet could have a comfortable level, living standard, and the basics of what they need. House, shelter, you know what I'm saying, comfortable shelter, AC, we could have clean water for everybody. It's not impossible. What's holding us back is ourselves and our infrastructure, an infrastructure that will allow us to do that, right? I'm not gonna get too much into politics, but I'm just gonna drop a capitalism. You know what I'm saying? But nah, it's not what's best for our people, especially when we look at communities that do well. We look at small groups like Jews, like Chinese, Hispanics, etc., Asians, etc. Not to label people, but these communities come and they stick together, and they know what they need. They know, okay, at bare minimum, we need food and shelter. We need this, and this. Okay, let's work together to get all of this. So now we have our own business. Now we have our own source of income. Now our children can go study, and they don't have to worry about nothing. They don't have no bills. Yep. I won't. You know what I'm saying? I one of the families I lived with while I was living in Spain, I watched the kids who were 29, 30, 35, you know what I'm saying, staying at home with their family, and their family would say, why would you leave? Why would you leave? Everything you have is here. Everything you need is here. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no reason for you to go anywhere. You know what I mean? If you want to, now, if you know what I'm saying, you getting married, you done bought a house, you done built the house, your dream house, you move into this part, yeah.
But you use this.
Use this as your platform. Get your money first, build up, and if you want to buy a house as an investment or because you want to go work in this place, you want to pursue art, you want to pursue your dreams, you have the foundation completely laid out for you by the past generations. So my goal, the impact that I would like to have on not only my community but on the world would be to create an infrastructure for us to establish generational wealth for the next generations. Right. I don't want to see, I would hate to see when I'm 60, my kids struggling. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting there trying to figure out, nah, man, at the bare minimum, you're going to have everything I got. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's a mindset, that's a value system that has to be taught. And there's also got to be a way to make it make sense for us. You know what I'm saying? And so, however I'm able to accomplish that will be my goal, impact or resulting lasting effect on this community and on the world.
That's good, because you're talking about changing the culture, right? So taking that idea, say we have 20 people who think like that, and those 20 people collaborate. Those 20 people, they have their respective families, and they raise their children up within this mindset, within this new cultural pattern of working together. So we can say every individual family, they strengthen themselves, but then they cooperate across the board and helping each other grow and glow. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. We like to talk about it. And you know what? That unity that we talk about, we actually do unify. We just unify for the wrong things. And a lot of times, we don't think about it, because a lot of the argument is black people, like black unity is impossible, it won't happen, and black people don't like to unify. I challenge that, because, if we can get 100,000 black people in the concert, aren't they unifying to go support something? Right. Real talk. But it's just unifying for the wrong thing. So if we could change the programming, because we're already unified. We could just start unifying around the right things, things that are productive to us, things that may challenge the status quo.
Right.
And of course, we know there are other reasons why people don't want to do that, selfish reasons, but we do unify. And so just changing that energy. So I'm with you on that. And I think everything that you guys here are doing at Halisi Africa is working to help make that change and help make the community better. So thank you all for what you all do for this Tallahassee community. And now that I know you are a native Tallahassean, that's even better. What high school did you go? You know, that's the Tallahassee question. What high school did you go to?
Godby, I went to Amos P. Godby, class of 2006.
Okay. So I went to Ricketts. I was supposed to go to Godby because if I was on the other side of the street, I would have went to Godby. And I'm like, it's crazy because Godby right down the road.
Yeah.
But no, that's amazing. You know, I'm at Ricketts and we respect y'all over there. But I respect what you guys have done here at Halisi Africa. Shout out to my man Juanito Wilborn, and I interviewed him on this channel as well. But you all allowed him to have his book release here not too long ago, and I know that was great for him. He was happy about that, so I thank you all for that, and thank you all for feeding the community, and not just the food, but the nourishment, the information, and the resources that you give back to the community. And as we were talking, I was thinking, okay, this is part one. This is part one because we got to come back and sit down and talk over some food.
Yeah.
Right, and because we got to showcase the food to the people. Because that's something I always wanted to do, you know, watching those TV shows. But definitely got to sit down over some food and talk some Black history. And so, like I said, part two is coming, and then we're also going to make sure for the Kwanzaa event we give y'all a sneak peek as well. So. Then the closing things that you want to give to the people, any words of encouragement that you would like to give to anybody who's on that journey looking to do anything, because you're sitting in your dream right now. This was all in your head right now. And you're literally sitting in your idea. So what do you have any encouraging words for anybody?
Oh man, I might have to go back and encourage them to read. If you can't get up and travel, reading is the only way to travel, to let your mind travel. You're trapped in this physical form, but reading, man, can take you all over the globe. I swear, man. So The Alchemist, highly recommend. Pursue your personal legend, but also read about the people who you're fascinated and interested in. If these people are symbols or icons or they're meaningful to you in some way, they've had an impact on your life, see if you can find a little bit about their lives. And I don't mean TSR. I don't mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mean go look at all the gossip about them. I mean, read about them, you know what I'm saying? Get like, especially if you can hear it from their mouths. You know what I'm saying? If you can watch interviews about them and see how they express themselves, and not necessarily imitate them, but learn from them the things that you admire and how you can reflect that yourself. You know what I mean? And not just books about people, but also read fantasy, read things that challenge the status quo, because that's what's really gonna make you say, okay, you know what, I hadn't even considered that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get the book shut down, but read about Marxism. It's something really interesting about that. Zeitgeist. It's a documentary on YouTube. All of this. That's all. I'm gonna leave it on that. But there's some interesting stuff out there, guys. Challenge what you believe in every way, and if you come out of it with more faith that what you believed before, that's good. You know what I'm saying? If you come out and you challenge it and you say, you know what, I'm not sure what I believed before, that's good. You know what I'm saying? That's how you grow. Period.
Yeah.
So
before you give the mic back, how can people reach you? How can people learn more about Halisi Africa? How can they contact you?
You can reach me. I'm always here at Halisi. So the physical address, let me start with that. 62517 Railroad Square. It's located in downtown College Town, Tallahassee, not too far from the Capitol, not too far from Cascades. I mean, not too far from FSU, not too far from FAMU. I could walk to all those destinations and it would not be too much of a bear. What else? You know, you can find us on Instagram at Halisi Africa. Halisi is spelled Halisi, Africa with a C. Same on Facebook. What else? I got a TikTok, same, Halisi Africa. Let me think. And our phone number is on Google. I would hate to give you the number and it change. So go to Google, and if we have any updates, you'll see everything there. Yeah, we have our website as well, www.halisiafricaonline.com. And you can check out our full menu there. I post about our events there. You'll also be able to see stuff about Kwanzaa. And yeah, that's probably the best way to really get all the information to contact us from right there.
Halisi Africa. That is my man Bryant. I appreciate you for what you do, for you and your mom, for you all having the vision to not only have a boutique. Well, start with spices, then the boutique, and the restaurant. It's a combination of all of that, and you are using all of your passions and your skills to make sure you give back to your people, and you're passionate about your people, and that I appreciate that. Like I said, this is part 1. Part 2, we coming back. We're going to do some eating and some talking. And then we also got to give you all some insight on what's going on with Kwanzaa. So stay tuned. Get used to these faces because we coming back. We appreciate you all. Make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share. Go to the website and learn more.
I just want to add one more thing. Congratulations to you, man. 75,000 subscribers, man. I saw that. I was like, oh, man. You know what I'm saying? And I had already been wanting to work with you. I see the stuff that you do, man, the impact that you have on the community, man. Seriously, we appreciate that as well, man. We know about you. You know what I'm saying? So definitely keep doing your thing, man, for real.
Nah, I appreciate that because, I go to work and go home. So I be in the house chilling all the time. So it's like I know, but I don't know. But I like it because it kind of keep me humble, keep me going. But I appreciate that. And I've been wanting to do work with you as well and make sure we collaborate. So let's go ahead and do this and move forward. Like I said, y'all support like I did everybody else. And we'll see y'all for part 2.